Snowmobile speed record should be dropping like flies in Lake Nebagavan, Wisconsin tomorrow. The NSSR radar run will attract the fastest sleds anywhere. In a practice run today, here is Groth going 188 miles per hour. That's just 2 miles per hour off the current world record held by Marv Jorgensen. The event runs through Sunday with competition in 32 classes. Bonnie, that wasn't a snowmobile, was it? It looked like a dragster to me.
Not the kind that I know of, anyway.
Yeah. Folks who tried to get their name in print right here in the Northland.
This is the Budweiser Snow King, a snowmobile that gives new meaning to the word speed.
Basically, it's a dragster with skis, and hopefully it'll be the world's fastest.
You're witnessing a trial run of 188 miles per hour. That's right, 188. That's just shy of the world record mark of 190. So where's this taking place? Well, it's Lake Nebagavan, site of the first annual National Snowmobile Speed Runs. The tour stops in Coleraine this weekend, the second of 6 tour stops this year, in a sport with rapidly growing interest.
This is pure technology. It's most of the people that are racing their sleds have built their sleds, designed their sleds, engineered their sleds, so tuned their sleds. There's very few hands-off type drivers. Most of them are doing all their own work. So it's their concept of what will be the very best, and then they go out and they build it, they put it together, and they drive it.
Speed is definitely the name of the game in this competition. Behind me is one of the reasons why this is called the fastest show on snow. There are 32 classes in the NSSR, with the top speeds occurring in the unlimited class. And due to the newer and better equipment, the speeds are increasing weekly.
You don't have any asphalt to hook your tires to or whatnot. We drive off of tracks and off of spikes that are through the tracks. And it depends on basically how hard the ice is, how much power you can put to that ice.
That power gets up to 1,800 horsepower. It's man and his machine against the clock. So what kind of person does it take to get behind the wheel?
It takes somebody a little bit special, somebody that wants to climb in there and go 200 miles an hour on the ice. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to try it and do it, and there's a lot of people that probably could. Mine drives like a Cadillac on a Sunday afternoon.
With photographer Ted Pellman at Lake Nebagavan, Greg Mattson, Eyewitness Sports.
Well, Bonnie, that's one Cadillac I'm glad I've never had the pleasure of riding on.
Yeah.
Sounds like 200 on the ice is a little bit dangerous for my blood, but these guys do it and do it well.
Yeah. Say now.
Inside the Budweiser Snow King, ready to make his first run of the day. These drivers, of course, allowed 4 runs. Speed there is 78, 960, 78, 264 of that last run. Budweiser Snow King, and he's got 2 runs to make with 2.5 hours left. You can be sure these guys are going to be working hard. What are you guys going for? Paul Groth. His wife Ann, make sure that they have Gotta put wire in there to keep it together.
NHRA today. 50 G's await the first to crack the big 300. A visit to the Florida home of the two-wheel title holder. The top alcohol trial of a Texas attorney. And frigid fun on a racetrack made of ice. From Houston Raceway Park and the Slick 50 Nationals, these stories and more on this edition of NHRA Today. Welcome back, y'all, to NHRA Today. You know, we talked earlier how changeable the weather can be here in Texas in March. Sunshine 1 minute, rain showers the next. Well, heck, in the top fuel pits, there's even a patch of Texas snow. Bad pun, I know. But believe it or not, cold weather and drag racing do go together in some parts of the country. It takes a special caliber racer to brave speeds up to 170 miles per hour at below freezing temperatures. But that's what the fastest show on snow is all about. World record holders and hopefuls gathered from various snowbelt cities for the National Snowmobile Speed Runs at Lake Independence in Loretto, Minnesota.
This particular event is a season opener this year. It's late. We've had some ice conditions that have not allowed us to race. The first 3 events had to be canceled. We need a minimum of 22 inches of ice out here to put these rigs on the ice.
Racers compete in 34 different classes, including stock, vintage, pro stock, up through unlimited. The snowmobile racing season consists of 6 or 7 events, depending on ice conditions.
We've had a tough year snowmobile racing in general, and I think all of the different forms of snowmobile racing have because of the weather. Mother Nature hasn't been real fun with us because of the warm weather, but it's a fun event for us to come out. The grass racer, of course, gets a chance to run. They can buy a sled right off the floor and come out and compete.
Cold temps don't seem to hinder this group. Although the skies were clear, race day thermometer readings never got above 15 degrees.
You know, the suits are leather and you got your helmet on and stuff. You never even get cold until you're down the other end waiting for somebody to come and get you.
It's so quick you don't even really feel it.
Stand out here enough, you get used to it.
But look on the bright side.
Could be colder.
The cold didn't stop hundreds of spectators from coming out either, and they were dressed to weather the weather. Not all the machines here look like your typical snowmobile. In many of the older than stock classes, the sleds run on a tread with metal picks to enhance traction on the slick shaved ice surface. As with all speed sports, safety is a major concern.
We've gone through a lot of work to make sure that the driver and the spectators involved in this type of sport are protected.
Drivers are tethered with elastic to the machine, and if for any reason he leaves the machine, the tethers shut it down, disengaging electrical and fuel systems. In many classes, a personal parachute is required, which pulls the driver away from the machine and deploys the main chute. All sleds are equipped with a 1/4-inch guard to deflect ice chunks. And some participants bring more than one sled. Kathy Anderson competes in 3 different classes.
The Pro Stock is an 800, Polaris, and the Super Stock is a 650, and the Vintage is a 340, all Polaris.
Kathy placed 3rd in Pro Stock and set a record in Class 2 Super Stock at 121.17 miles per hour. NSSR restructured rules at the end of last season, requiring all sleds to be powered by snowmobile engines.
We arranged a lot of classes last year because of the manufacturers and industry building bigger machines. When we went back to smaller motors, we went to 1,000 feet.
The changes affected Budweiser Snow King driver Paul Groth, who made several exhibition runs during the event. This familiar-looking ride was formerly a top alcohol dragster. His best speed for the day, 177 miles per hour.
The track is excellent. It's nice and smooth. It's a little bit on the short side. The shutdown area is a little bit tight, but the machine's running really good.
And even if the rule changes mean an end to competing with this sled, Paul is anxious to continue pursuing a record in the class under new rules.
Currently, we're working on an unlimited sled. It'll have 4 Yamaha VMAX 4 engines. Those are snowmobile engines.
The former unlimited class record holder, Marv Jorgensen, has moved into the pro stock class, giving 1991 pro stock champion Jim Dimmerman some tough competition.
I set the record on that last run of 130.3, and I had a run earlier that was 128, which is good enough for a backup. So the record is there if no one else beats it.
Jorgensen won the pro stock class and set a record of 130.51 miles per hour.
None of us went real fast, but I'll take the 130 and the win and the record, I guess.
Whether you call it a need for speed, a quest to be the best, or just a run for fun, the snow drag racers share a common bond of competition with their asphalt counterparts. Now you'd think with all that snow they'd use a Christmas tree to start the races. But still, 170 miles an hour on ice, that's pretty darned exciting. And that's all the time we have for this week's show. For Dave McClellan, Bob Fry, and Don Garlitz, I'm Steve Evans. I think I'll wander over to the Pro Stock bike pits and see if they like that concept of the personal parachute. See you here next weekend on TNN with highlights of the Slick 50 Nationals.
NHRA Today has been sponsored by Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
And hot rod is a simple one. You take the most powerful engine you can and stuff it into a lightweight package. And I guarantee you'll go faster. Over the years, engines like this Authy were designed and built solely for the purpose of going faster. And in just a few moments, we'll see that that same hot rod formula applies to snowmobiles. It's winter in Wisconsin. The lakes are covered in a thick sheet of ice, and the temperatures are well below zero. Perfect conditions to go drag racing snowmobile. Folks in the frozen north have been racing their sleds since the 70s. But it was not until 1986 that the racers got together to form the NSSR. Meg Greenhaw, known affectionately as the Dragon Lady, is the president.
It's really the grassroots racers. It's the first time fellas and girls that come out. It's the ability for stock drivers to come out and set records at an entry level. The second part is probably hammering out the rules and all the negotiations with the manufacturers each year to keep it a level playing field for everybody. That's real interesting.
Since taking over the running of NSSR, Meg has restructured the association. Sleds in all classes must run snowmobile engines. For those in the unlimited classes, it means rebuilding from the ground up.
In 1989, they voted to go back to snowmobile power plants only. So now we're just going through that real rebuilding stage where the drivers are able to start building these unlimited machines. And you're going to see the first one out here today, which is the Budweiser Snow King.
Paul Groth is piloting the new Budweiser Snow King. Although he has fond memories of his Chevy-powered sled, he looks forward to the challenge of setting new records in his Yamaha-powered sled.
We're running boat motors, motorcycle engines, car engines. If we're going to run snowmobiles, I guess that's what we got to run.
Making and breaking records is largely dependent on the state of the track, which more often than not is a frozen lake. Small temperature changes not only affect the surface of the lake, but can pose a safety hazard.
Will the whole return lane hold the Snow King?
I'm going to check that now.
Yeah, go all down the return. Go down the return lane this way. Go down the return lane this way and come back in and see if you can cross over. The course normally is 100 foot wide and a mile long. The timing traps are at 1,000 feet. They have a span of 132 feet between the lights. And so it's 1,000 foot standing start that they're running, and then they have 3/4 of a mile shutdown. Some of the sleds need that, some of the sleds don't. And we take the ice surface, we plow it first, and then we shave it with an ice shaver that we take with us. And we had to shave this track for 3 days straight to get it as level as we've got it today.
Tommy Zeller has broken more records than any other racer. This year, he will be hoping to set more in the 2 classes he's competing in.
It takes a lot of shop time. You have to be pretty meticulous with the sled. We have a very good wrench working with us right now, and he's helping us out a lot.
Much of Tommy's success can be attributed to Marlin England. Marlin has been building record-breaking sleds since the 70s. This year, he will be racing for the first time in the improved stock class.
It's a Skidoo Moxie 1993 model, and it's awesome. It's the highest improved stock snowmobile I've ever seen, let alone ridden.
The toughest competition is in the pro stock class. As it is less expensive to run than the other classes, it draws the largest number of entrants.
Well, I'd like to get back into unlimited or bigger sleds again, but right now I got no sponsor, so it's pro stock's a lot more reasonable racing.
Marv has already set a world record in his 1993 Storm. The biggest threat to that record will come from Kathy Anderson, who is also racing in super stock and improved stock.
This year, so far I've got 2 world records on 2 of the machines, and I would like to get all, 3 world records on all 3.
Anderson with a great run that first round of pro stock. She's tying the world record of Barb Jorgensen at 132.515. She's got enough to back it up.
Although winning is serious business, snowmobile drag racing is still in its infancy. The easygoing, relaxed atmosphere of the event is a reminder of why these people venture out into the pristine wilderness in the dead of winter.
The people, the friends that I've made, and winning. I like winning.
It's a disease. You can't cure it.
It's in your blood, you just keep racing. After you start, you never quit.
When we come back, once a year the thunder of NASCAR racing is replaced with the echoing voices of auctioneers, the smooth purring of classic cars, and the joy of shopping a swap meet. It's the Auto Fair at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
This is the Budweiser Snow King, powered by Yamaha. When it came to selecting engines for the machine out to set a new world speed record, the choice was easy. 4 VMAX 4 engines. Only Yamaha builds its own engines. No manufacturer has the quality, reliability, or smooth operation of Yamaha. If you're looking